I have to admit, when I first saw the title of the article we are covering today, I felt a little attacked
Because of the unicorn emoji?
because of what the unicorn represents. I mean, think about it. In the startup world, being a unicorn is the ultimate dream.
Right. It means you're a billion-dollar rarity.
Exactly. You are magical. You are the one in a million success story. But today's author, Troy Teixeira, is using it in a way that is, well, let's just say it's not a compliment.
No, definitely not.
So welcome to today's deep dive. We're unpacking an article called You're Not a Unicorn by Troy Teixeira from his Substack, Ageless Gains. And honestly, it is a bucket of ice water to the face.
It really is. The core premise is basically this. You think you're a medical mystery. You think you're this rare biological exception where the basic laws of physics and health just don't apply to you.
Yeah.
Well, you're not. You're just human. And according to Teixeira, you're probably just doing the basics wrong.
The basics of health.
Right. And our mission for this deep dive is to unpack this tough love argument he makes about radical accountability. We really want to examine the link he draws between daily habits and the immune system.
And to see if dropping that shield of excuses is actually as empowering as he claims it is. Because he is very direct. He pulls zero punches.
None at all. So I think we need to prepare you, the listener, to look at health through a lens of strict cause and effect today. Not luck, not genetics, cause and effect.
Okay, so let's unpack this unicorn complex a bit more before we get into the physical protocols, because I see this all the time.
Oh, everywhere.
People who are constantly sick, they have a revolving door of doctor visits, dealing with all these mystery symptoms. And Teixeira points out that their first instinct is to just grab a label.
Yeah, he calls it clinging to labels. And it's a really fascinating psychological observation because when a doctor gives someone a diagnosis, for so many people, the journey just ends right there.
The diagnosis becomes their entire identity.
Exactly. It becomes, I am a person with this specific label.
Instead of, I'm a person currently experiencing these symptoms because of my lifestyle choices.
Right. Because once you get that label, you stop asking the hard questions. Teixeira gets pretty frustrated by this dynamic. He argues that it literally stops people from asking the most basic things.
Like what?
Like, what am I eating? How am I moving? What is my daily life actually like? If I truly believe I'm a unicorn, I don't need to ask those questions.
Because the answer is always, well, it's the disease's fault.
Exactly. It is a massive shield. If you're a unicorn, the sickness isn't your fault. It's cosmic bad luck. It's a tragic roll of the genetic dice.
But if you are not a unicorn,
then you have to look at your dinner plate. You have to look at your daily step count. And that is deeply uncomfortable for most people.
that's the ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card for health. I have this condition, therefore I am tired. Don't look at my sleep schedule.
Precisely. And he is coming in hot to take that card away. He wants to prove that biology doesn't care about your labels or your excuses. It's just a ruthless cause and effect machine.
But wait, surely there are people with legitimate rare genetic issues, right? Is he saying nobody is actually sick?
No, he's not saying illness doesn't exist. He's saying that for the vast majority of people, chronic illness and fatigue are not mysterious anomalies. They are the direct, predictable result of your inputs.
The gas tank analogy.
Right. If you put sand in your gas tank, the car stops running. You aren't driving a magical unicorn car that inexplicably failed. You're just driving a car with sand in the tank.
Okay, so let's look at the car he uses as his primary example. He brings up a case study that, honestly, if I hadn't read it myself, I'd have a really hard time believing.
It's quite the claim.
It's about himself and his 85-year-old father.
This is where the rubber meets the road for his argument. He states that since he started eating healthy, training consistently, and this is the crucial part, coaching his 85-year-old father to do exactly the same, neither of them gets sick.
And he clarifies this. He doesn't mean, oh, we get a clear runny nose sometimes. He literally says, years without illness.
Which, for an 85-year-old, is statistically wild. Usually as we age, the medical community talks about immunosenescence.
Which is what?
It's the gradual deterioration of the immune system. We generally expect 85-year-olds to be fragile. We expect them to catch every bug that goes around.
But Teixeira argues that's just not inevitable.
Not at all.
Okay, but let's play devil's advocate for a second. I know exactly what you're thinking as you listen to this. Oh, come on. They must just have great genetics. They are the unicorns. They just don't know it.
You would think so.
Yeah.
But to counter that, he shares a very specific story about a near miss that I think effectively disproves the luck theory. It really shows the mechanism at work.
This was the story about his dad getting run down.
Yes. So his dad had been pushing way too hard, too much activity, not enough recovery. He just wasn't sleeping enough. And suddenly he felt that classic tickle in the throat.
Oh, man, the fatigue, the uh-oh moment.
Right, where you just know a cold is coming on.
The moment where most of us just go, well, I guess I'm sick for the next week, and we reach for the remote control and camp on the couch.
Exactly. Because the unicorn mindset says, I caught a bug, I am a victim of flu season. But the Ticera mindset says, my system is flagging, I need to intervene immediately.
So what was the intervention? He mentions zinc and magnesium in the article, but is that really a magic bullet?
It's not magic. It is pure biochemistry. Let's look at what they actually did. They didn't just ignore it or pop a standard multivitamin. They increased his zinc intake right away.
Why zinc specifically?
So, without getting too deep into the medical weeds here, zinc is absolutely essential for immune cell function. In the early stages of a viral infection, zinc can actually inhibit viral replication.
Okay.
Think of it like this. The virus is a burglar trying to photocopy itself inside your house. Zinc jams the photocopier.
I love that. So zinc stops the burglar from cloning himself. What about the magnesium?
Magnesium is there to support the nervous system. When you're run down, your body is in a state of stress. Sympathetic dominance, fight or flight mode.
And that suppresses the immune system.
Exactly. Magnesium helps downregulate that stress response. It tells the body, hey, it's okay to relax. It's time to repair.
So they jam the photocopier and calm the homeowner down.
That's a great way to put it. And then they added heavy hydration and, most importantly, radical rest. They didn't try to just power through it. He went to sleep.
And the outcome?
The immune system simply shut it down.
Just like that.
Just like that. It didn't escalate. The sore throat didn't become a head cold. The head cold didn't become bronchitis. It stopped before it could multiply.
See, that is the part that gets me. Ticera argues this proves it wasn't luck at all. It was a strong system doing its actual job.
Going back to the house analogy, it's like having a high-end security system. The burglar might try the handle, that's the sore throat, but the alarm goes off, the metal shutters come down, and the threat is neutralized in minutes.
And his overall point is that most of us have completely deactivated our security systems through our lifestyle.
Yes. So when the burglar tries the handle, the door is unlocked, the alarm is unplugged, and we just sit there and watch them walk in and steal the TV.
And then we have the nerve to say, I can't believe I'm so unlucky.
Right.
Speaking of unlucky, we have to talk about the environment. Because this is the part of the article where I started reading and thinking, okay, this guy is just showing off now.
You're talking about the hiking routines.
I am absolutely talking about the hiking. Ticera and his dad do things that would make the average person faint. He talks about hiking in freezing temperatures, heavy wind.
Oh, and the snow.
Hiking in deep snow with freezing wet feet.
Wet feet in the freezing snow. It is the ultimate old wives' tale nightmare, isn't it?
It really is. Put on a sweater or you'll catch your death. Don't go outside with wet hair. Conventional wisdom says what they are doing is a one-way ticket to pneumonia.
That belief is deeply ingrained in us. But Ticera challenges this convention head-on. He explicitly says, cold weather isn't the enemy. A weak immune system is.
So is he saying that's total nonsense? That being cold doesn't make you sick at all?
He's making a vital distinction between the stressor and the cause. Cold is a stressor, absolutely. It requires a lot of energy to stay warm. It demands a lot from the human body.
Right.
But cold itself is not a virus. It's not a bacteria. You cannot catch a cold from a temperature drop alone. You catch it from a pathogen.
But we see it happen all the time. People get cold, and then a day later they get sick.
Because their system is fragile.
Yeah.
Ticera's argument is that if you are metabolic iron, if you're eating right, sleeping right, burning clean fuel, the cold is just a sensation. It's just environmental data. It doesn't break you.
So if you're a unicorn made of glass, the cold shatters you. If you're made of iron, it just polishes you.
Exactly. In fact, he even mentions their home environment, which made me shiver just reading it. He keeps his house in the 60s Fahrenheit during the day.
And lets it drop into the 50s at night.
Inside the house.
That is camping. That's not living indoors.
Yeah. To him, it's living optimally. But think about the baseline resilience that builds. Their bodies are constantly adapting, constantly regulating temperature. They haven't pulled the rug out from under their own health by living in a perfect, climate-controlled bubble 24/7.
It's a really bold stance. He's essentially saying, look, we do everything average people think causes sickness. Freezing cold, wet feet, physical exposure, and we're the healthiest people we know. It really forces you to rethink that correlation,
It does, because if cold directly causes sickness, they should be bedridden constantly, but they aren't. So the variable has to be something else.
which leads us perfectly to that something else, the lifestyle indicators. And this is where the article shifts from anecdotal to, well, almost diagnostic. And I'll be honest, in today's cultural climate, this part is a little prickly.
It is sensitive. This
Yeah.
is the visual diagnosis section. Teixeira claims he doesn't need to see a medical chart to understand why his friends, family, or coworkers are chronically ill.
He says he just has to look at them, which, let's be real, sounds like profiling. It sounds judgmental.
He is profiling, but he argues he's profiling their inputs based entirely on their visible outputs. He's looking for biological truth, not social politeness.
So what exactly is he looking for? What is on his checklist?
Well, he looks at the obvious stuff first: diet, daily movement, sleep quality, stress levels. But the most visible one, the one he calls the easiest indicator, is body weight, specifically carrying significant excess body fat.
He gets very specific here, too. He points out being 20 or more pounds overweight is a key indicator.
Right. And he links that visual archer to the habits he observes in those same people: eating fast food multiple times a week, avoiding exercise. And my favorite line, treating vegetables like a foreign concept.
Treating vegetables like a foreign concept. Ouch. But also, I can picture exactly the person he's talking about.
We all can. And while it sounds harsh, his point isn't to be mean. It's not about fat shaming. It's to highlight the logical disconnect.
Right.
He's saying you cannot treat your body like a landfill processing junk food, living a sedentary life, dealing with high inflammation, and then act completely surprised when the machinery breaks down.
It's the inconsistency he hates. It's pulling the rug out from under your own health and then blaming the floor for being too hard.
Exactly. He argues that you simply cannot complain about chronic sickness while actively living a lifestyle that guarantees a weak immune system. It's a harsh truth, but he views it as a necessary one to wake people up.
And that circles right back to the unicorn idea. He's saying, look in the mirror. You aren't a unicorn. You aren't a medical anomaly whose issues somehow slip through the cracks of a flawless lifestyle.
Right. He's asking you to audit that lifestyle. Is it really flawless? Or are you just telling yourself it is? If you look honestly at the inputs, does the output make sense?
Okay, so we've spent the last 10 minutes or so stripping away all the excuses. We've established that the cold isn't killing us, our genetics mostly aren't killing us, and that we aren't these mysterious unicorns.
Which, if you stop and think about it, is actually the best news you could possibly hear.
You'll have to explain that. Because
Yeah.
it feels like we just listed a lot of ways people are failing. It feels a bit like a scolding.
Think about the alternative, though. If you were a unicorn, if your sickness was truly random, mysterious, and completely disconnected from your daily lifestyle, that would be terrifying.
Why?
Because it would mean you are completely powerless. It would mean you're just a victim of the universe. It means no matter what you do, no matter how much you sleep or train, you might just get sick anyway because that's just how you are. You can't fix random bad luck.
That is a really good point. If it's random, I am helpless.
Exactly. But if you are not an exception, if you are just a standard biological machine that is currently receiving bad fuel well, you can fix that immediately. You can start today.
It completely shifts the power dynamic. The control panel is back in your hands.
Yes, the solution becomes tangible. It lies in fixing the basics: nutrition, movement, body composition, sleep. It takes all the mystery out of it. You don't need a medical miracle. You don't need a rare pharmaceutical. You need to eat a vegetable and get a good night's sleep.
It reminds me of that old saying, simple but not easy.
It is simple. But Teixeira's point is that we deliberately complicate it with these unicorn narratives specifically to avoid the hard work of the simple stuff. It's much easier to research rare diseases on the internet for 3 hours than it is to go for a run in the cold.
So the real call to action here is about radical accountability.
It is. It's about auditing your life. He says until you fix the basics, your body is going to keep reminding you that biology does not care about your excuses.
Biology doesn't care about your excuses. That is one for the refrigerator magnet.
A very aggressive refrigerator magnet. You should put it right next to the handle so you see it before you open the door.
So as we wrap this up, this deep dive has been quite a journey. We started with the psychology of the unicorn, the shield we use to protect our egos, the whole "it's not my fault, I'm special" mindset.
And we move through the physiology that proves we really aren't that special, that our bodies are actually incredibly predictable machines. If you put in good fuel and maintain it, like zinc, magnesium, rest, and real food, you get a high-performance output.
And if you put in junk and neglect it, it breaks down.
Exactly.
We also learned that even 85-year-olds can be non-unicorns and thrive, provided they stick to the protocol, and that freezing cold weather might just be a convenient scapegoat for a weak immune system.
It all comes back to that fundamental shift in perspective, moving from feeling like a victim of bad luck to becoming the architect of your own immunity. It is a heavy responsibility, sure. It means you can't just blame the weather anymore, but it's also the only real way to get better.
It's empowering in a very tough love kind of way. It invites you to stop looking for complex medical labels and start looking at your own grocery cart.
And that's a universal tool, whether you're dealing with chronic fatigue or you're just wanting to avoid the seasonal flu. The invitation to audit your basics is always relevant.
So here is the provocative thought we want to leave you with today. It's a bit of a challenge, really, inspired by Teixeira's approach.
Right. We want you to try a thought experiment. If you stripped away every medical label you have attached to yourself over the years, if you stripped away every excuse about the weather, or it's flu season, or my metabolism is just slow.
If you stripped all of that away entirely and looked strictly at your inputs for the last 7 days, the food you actually ate, the hours you actually slept, the movement you did or didn't do.
Would your body's current output actually make perfect sense?
Are you really a unicorn? Or are you just human?
Biology strongly suggests the latter, and frankly, that should be a relief.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. We'll catch you next time.